Hey guys, Darren here. Welcome to Mayhem Country Living. Hope you guys are doing okay wherever it is that you are. I think we are live. Not quite sure. Um, had a little hiccup right there at the butt end of it. Yep, says we are connected. Hey, Doc. Yes, sir. Doing a little bit of traveling. Doing a little bit for work, but I was gonna try to do this live stream anyway. And tonight's topic, hey, Christy, I am connected. Since I hadn't gotten any messages or emails from anybody, how about doing small animals on Homestead? Or, just livestock in general, owned and around the homestead. What do you guys think? Or do you want to, Doc, you want to generate something that we can talk about? Or Christy, you got any ideas or suggestions? I have the show notes already set up, and we are drinking black coffee, compliments of the Country Inn and Suites. Anyway, guys, I hope you're doing all right. Being an old farm boy. Okay. Well, that sounds good to me. One of the things that allows us, hey, Sandy, one of the things that allows us the freedom to do some of the things that we still like to do is the fact that we are able to have some livestock, even on a small homestead. I'm pulling up some of my show notes. But what's it mean, really? I mean, homesteading. Because I know people who live on a whole lot less. Christy's eating supper, so she's listening. Okay, well, sounds good. What you eating? What you having for dinner? I know a lot more people who do less owned land. Sandy has a small little dog. Well, that sounds good. But we're not going to eat small dogs. Draw the line tonight. Anyway, I know a lot of people who do a whole lot more on a whole lot less property. Chicken, rice, and lima beans with black coffee. There you go. God bless you. There. Black coffee. I know a whole lot more people who do a whole lot more with less land than I do. I got 2.5, 3 acres, something like that. I know a lot of people who do a lot more with what they have than I do. And it's, I have to say, it is that's funny, Christy. Sandy, yes. I hope Surviving in Alabama pops in at some point because he has done or does rabbits, and I've never had experience with rabbits for meat. Done a whole bunch of chickens. Last count, I think, running around in the yard, I had like 130, 140, something like that, on our 2.5 acres. And we progressively thinned and thinned and thinned out because we are in the process of refitting a lot of the stuff around the homestead, around the property, to just make it easier for us. So we're fencing in further and further around. And so at this moment, we have one chicken. And it's not really good to have a single chicken because they are communal. But when we went to catch them all to sell them to the guy, she flew over the fence and we couldn't catch her. And then afterwards, she flew back, and she's one of our oldest hens. She's like 6 or 7 years old. Yes, believe it or not, she is very old. And so we have, we have assigned her with the grandmother status of chickens. So she just hangs out with the cats right now. We're going to get, after we get all the fencing done, we're going to get 20 more Brahmas and some Easter eggers. I think that's what the hooch wants. You might eat him if you get very hungry. I understand. Sometimes we have to do things, but having these little critters, chickens and stuff like that, and rabbits, guineas, quail on the property, affords you a lot of options that other people do not have. I mean, you always have ultimately a meat source. And with chickens or with poultry, you have a source for eggs, which is really good. And you can, capitalize on that. Hang on, I'm checking my notes because I'm trying to. There we go. But the thing is, you have to pick out the animals that you have on your property. Obviously, okay, I've got 3 acres, let's say, and could I have a cow? Holy cow, literally. I guess I could. I could have one maybe, but that would be a terrible life. So really, you can't. Can you have chickens? Oh yeah, you can have a buttload of chickens. Can you have quail, ducks? Can you have any of these other small animals? Can you have a goat or two? Not just for eating, really. Doc Falcon said, yes, you could, but you don't have the room. Absolutely. That's a kick in the butt. That's the thing right there. It's management. Do you have the space that you need to do it properly for your sake and for the animal's sake? That's something really to consider. And do you have the infrastructure? That's one of the big things. Back at the old property, we were doing it, and we, fence in, a couple of acres, and we would have all those chickens out there. And, there's a good bit of chickens, and there was always green grass. Well, confine them to a half acre, and all of a sudden you got a mud field. And chickens, believe it or not, dig holes. So there are things that you need to, bear in mind. I know people who do pigeons, and they do really well raising their pigeons. Doc just said you could have a couple of goats for a while. They do good cleanup. Yep, and they do eat kudzu. Absolutely, and that's one reason we had thought about doing goats. Sheep, you can do sheep. On an acre that you fenced in, if you manage it really, really well. But on our property, we have, the hooch wants a big front yard, a big, pretty front yard that looks like normal people. And then off to the side, we have the little orchard, which is, pecan trees and 8 or 9 fruit trees so far. And Sandy says, goats and chickens. You have 2 meats, eggs, milk, and cheese. There you go. And with the prices and the way things are going right now. Hey, Buckskin Saddlebags. All good, buddy. All good, buddy. Come on back if you're able to. if you have the room and if you're able to, then you can add and expand if you want to. Now, having critters is problematic because one of the things that we have come across is when it's time for us to go do a vacation, like you go down to Sanibel Island or something like that. Absolutely, Sandy. Feed is cheap. Feed is not cheap. It is very expensive. Um, when you want to go take a little vacation, 2 or 3 days, okay, you can accommodate, chickens and dogs maybe for a day or so, maybe 2 days. But then you have to run into, what's going to happen. It never fails. If we leave the property, something happens. So for us, it just became better. We have someone that comes out that house sits for us. And, we pay her a little bit and she collects the eggs. Back when we had a lot of chickens, she collects the eggs, has all the eggs that she wants to. Of course, we pay her and she lives at the house while we're gone. Eat whatever you want to, do whatever you want to within reason, no company. You can't just bring people over. That's one of the stipulations. And, have a nice weekend and we pay you for coming out. Even with just 2 cats, get the sitter. Absolutely. We tried to board our German Shepherds, Saul and Luna, and 60 $60 a night a piece at one of the local places, and then one of them didn't do well and we had to take him to the vet. And so $60 a night for 2 nights, that's $120. Then the vet bill became like an additional $250. So we just decided that for us it was better to bring in somebody to dog sit, a really nice person that likes to hang out with the dogs, and she works out great. And no, I will not tell you her name because I don't want her to get too busy. Actually, she's retired. She doesn't do it very much anymore, just for us and maybe 4 or 5 other people. But these are all things to consider when you have critters, and these are kind of the downsides of it. But the plus side is that chickens, you have meat. Oh, did you? Okay. Yeah, you understand, Christy. You have meat, you have eggs, you have fertilizer, and chickens, believe it or not, like I said, they dig like you would not believe. So you have a way to till an area, and I would always incorporate them into the garden. So the chickens would migrate into the garden after everything's been harvested that we wanted. I'd open the gate up and the chickens would come in there and they would just live out there until it got really cool. And the nice thing was they fertilized everything. They ate all the bugs. They, tilled everything in for us, pour a bunch of compost in, they scratch it out, spread it. You don't have to have chickens, or you don't have to have any animals on a homestead. A lot of these people just get really serious about these definitions. You don't have to have any animals on a homestead, but you have to do the work that the animals don't do. For example, the chickens, they have to have their places to scratch and dig and all that stuff. So these are the kind of things that you want to bear in mind. Eggs, you get a good bit of eggs, fertilized, unfertilized, depending on whether or not you have roosters. One of the really cool things when we moved onto that property, everybody seemed to be kind of uppity because it was there's some nice houses. There's some mobile homes, just older mobile homes, off to the side and everything. But some people seem to be kind of uppity. So we came in with like 150 chickens, and I started giving them away to neighbors. And we got rid of all of our chickens for the moment. And I've got four neighbors now who have chickens that we have given them, and they have since incorporated goats. I got one neighbor that's got pigs, guineas. If you saw the video short that I did, and I'm so tickled because the one or two neighbors who absolutely despise it are now surrounded by people who have tons of critters all the way around their property. I go out early in the morning, sit outside, do my devotionals, and drink my coffee, and I hear everybody's roosters crowing all the way around behind me, and there's nothing that the neighbors can do because it's not a subdivision, it's just an older community. And I just kind of cackle because I had a part in that, and it makes me very happy because some people are sticks in the mud and they're uppity. That's good coffee. If you are able to, once you have all your things put into place, that is your infrastructure, it's really a good idea. And it is really a good idea to have an extra source of protein income. And that could be from chickens or guineas or ducks, something like that. There's a bunch of talk you'll see on the internet about, and they'll send you all this clickbait stuff. Like the World Health Organization is saying you can't. I understand, Doc. Uh, the World Health Organization is saying you can't have a garden because it's too much of a carbon footprint. Roundabout, they're right, because it takes a little bit to do that. But I'm not going to listen to what somebody tells me I can do on my property. And I know Sandy and Christy, I know Doc isn't going to say, well, okay, well then, yes, boss. No. This is not just for the aesthetic pleasure of having critters running around on your property or anything like that. It's also about having a viable, renewable source of meat, protein, income for you guys. So that's when these people start getting all uppity, they are trying to dig into your wallet and take your money. Roundabouts. Christy says, absolutely. Maybe they need to stop flying their private jets if they want to reduce the carbon footprint. Absolutely. I agree completely. And there have been a lot of people that have said things to that effect. I'm supposed to eat a protein source that is less than desirable, yet other people are allowed to do what they want to. No, thank you. I believe I'll pass on that one. So that is just in 20 minutes. That is kind of the crux. Hang on, let me see if I've missed any. I make notes on my phone now. Hang on, let me see. Yep. Okay. One of the things I did miss this. Are you in a good area for these critters? Absolutely, Christy. That's why I have chickens. They eat the bugs for me, and then I will have the eggs. Yeah. Um, One of the things to consider about, small animals, chickens, rabbits, et cetera, is are they in a good spot weather-wise? Do you have, the weather? Certain breeds, Brahmas, we like Brahmas because they're big, they're heavy, they don't do a whole lot, kind of like me, and they can tolerate heat, which is deep South Alabama. That's ideal. They're big enough to where the hawks really don't bother them because they can't pick them up. That's something to think about. And so, do you have an animal or a critter that is less than suited for the zone that you're in? Rabbits, you can get certain rabbits that are more tolerant for heat or for cold. These things are what you need to consider. Um, Down here in deep south in Alabama, if I had sheep, I would get hair sheep, HAIR, hair sheep, because you don't shear them, you don't shave them. They have hair, they don't have wool really. And so it kind of falls off. But that way you don't have a problem with blowflies during the summer. Blowflies being maggots. Something you need to, think about. Are you willing to do all that and shave them down and everything? No. Um, you can find certain breeds that are more tolerant to your area, especially if they've been in your area for a while. Um, Doc says they want to take away your gas stove, your coffee, and a few other things. Land of the free. And that's like, no, sir, Doc, it is not land of the free. It is land of the fee. You can have all that, but you just have to pay the tax. Um, Sandy says animals are considered food storage. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I don't know if that's yeah. I guess they could be. That they could also be considered a food bank, because you've invested X. I guarantee you, if you have 10 chickens, you'll get more money from the 10 chickens, including the food and the hardware it took to fence them in, than it would be from putting it in a bank, in a savings account. I did a video on that. Yeah, yeah. Blowflies are nasty, Christy says. Yes, yes, ma'am, they are, because they are just really terrible things. Um, these are all things to consider. Just, bear in mind when you get critters. The first thing I would do if I was thinking about getting chickens, I would buy me uh, T-posts, fence posts, chicken wire, staples, a good gate, something to keep them out of the weather. And then if you still wanted to get chickens, I get chickens. Set up your all that to say, set up your infrastructure first. It's just um, it will just go a long way to help you. I have done it bass backwards before and gotten like 40 chickens and like, okay, I guess I'll have to fence in the property. And the next day, the dead chickens are scattered everywhere because the hawks came in or the coyotes. Um, these are things to consider. Set up your infrastructure first. You will be very, very happy. Um, you will be so happy that you set up a good, strong, secure fence for your chickens, your cats, your dogs, whatever. That would be what I would consider doing first. Um, and Sandy had mentioned the cost of feed. Chicken feed ain't cheap. Chicken feed ain't chicken feed. I think when we had all those chickens, we were paying $125 a month. Of course, we were selling eggs, including drive time. It was kind of a wash, and we did it kind of as a business, so I could deduct a lot, but you know, it does take a lot of time to do that. And you are linked to the land, which, you know, for me, if I didn't travel, I'd never leave my property. I really wouldn't, just because I'm a homebody and I like to do that kind of stuff. So that's my thought. If you can, if you have the room, if you have the infrastructure, I would definitely do something to supplement your food income. I guess let's call it that. Christy says her chickens always want to eat. Eat like a bird's not angry. Not at all. Not at all. They are eating machines. I've always been amazed and very thankful that the fact that the dinosaurs are extinct, because they say that the chickens are a descendant of the dinosaurs. If that is the case, if you had a 5 foot tall chicken, which would be a raptor, pretty much a velociraptor, those things would be monsters. Imagine 20 of them. If you had a pond, you could stock fish, turtles, frogs. Absolutely. And then around the perimeter of it, you could stock aquatic vegetation, cattails, which are all, everything on it's edible. Cattails, watercress, all kinds of different stuff. Absolutely. And it would also help to filter and clean your water in that pond. So, something to really think about. So we are almost at 30 minutes. That has frogs and turtles. Turtles will eat the fish. Yes, ma'am, they sure will. The nice thing about it, frogs, I love watching the frogs come out early in the morning. I go outside and there'll be like 8 or 9 toads, really not frogs, hopping all across the driveway. I have been told that toads and frogs are a very good indicator of the environment in your area. So if you have a lot of them, that means that the chemicals and everything hadn't killed them off. Billy Bob Water Moccasin. At least you named him. There you go. Yep. They sure do hang out in there. But we're at 30 minutes, so we'll wrap up this quickly. Not that we're getting off of it, but we'll end this kind of section of it. So what you guys been doing? What you guys been working on around your property? I was at the house, and Hooch has the Cocoa Puff, so you kind of saw all the pictures and the videos of that. So I was taking care of that. I still hadn't shaved yet. Billy Bob might taste good fried. You never know. Having eaten a couple of them, kind of chewy. It's always something to consider. But what you guys been doing around your property? I did get those seeds ordered. And I know it sounds odd, and I can't remember. Was it Sandy? I think Sandy said I ordered the okra tree, ordered 2 packs of it, and it gets 12 feet tall. And then somebody said, well, how are you going to pick it? That's a dang good question. I didn't think about that. So we are going to do it, and hopefully those things will go okay. My thought is, as they grow and spread, they will help to block sunlight during the hottest part of the day. And Doc says he's been taking care of a sick cat. What's wrong with your cat, Doc? Bladder infection. Okay, it's a female. Is she on any special diet? Okay. They may want to restrict her diet. Have you carried her to the vet yet? Because they'll do a urine sample and look for any kind of crystals in the urine and a urinalysis. That's what I used to do, and not check cat pee, but with animals. And oh yeah, she knows. She knows you're talking about her. I would, yeah, I would be careful. I definitely close my door when I go to sleep tonight, Doc. Males are usually the ones that get the blockage. Absolutely, because because of the urethra. It can happen in females. Yeah, it sure can. Um, Ben, what? Sandy? Uh, okay. Well, there you go. That's what Sandy said. Uh, okay. So she is peeing. Well, that's a good thing. It could be a UTI, um, but those things can be quite painful. Yeah, if it continues, you might want to take her into the vet and have her looked at. Hang on, just a second. Let me go cut this light off. For some reason, the hall light in the hotel's flickering. Oh, bend the okra tree's over. Well, there you go, Sandy. Yes. Yes. Thank you, Sandy, for clarifying. Um, in some zones, zone 8 plus, they're actually perennial. And these things, hang on. This is a paper coffee cup. These things get as big around as this, the pods. So once I get a whole bunch of seeds, I'll start passing out seeds to you guys. Yeah, good stuff, Doc. Take her to the vet and have them look at her. They can just do a urine strip and check her pee and see what's going on. And it may be, is she older, the cat? Because after a while they have a problem. Yeah, Christy, with processing. The protein. Cats eat a lot of protein. That's kind of young though. Could just be a bacterial infection and inflammation, and now it hurts and she pees. Sometimes they'll pee outside the litter box. Sometimes they'll pee not where they're supposed to. as opposed to just to the male cats to just spray. The females are a lot more accommodating. But yeah, UTIs are very painful. Oh, you're laughing at what I was saying, Sandy. Yeah. UTIs can be really, really painful. In people, it can actually, I remember reading in some of the, like the books, the prepping books and the medical books, women are more prone to get UTIs. It can kill you. A UTI can actually kill you. Bacterial infection sets in, and so that's one of the things. And it's again, it's not the sexy thing. It's not all the guns and stuff, but a UTI, bladder infection, an uncontrollable yeast infection, that will kill you as quick as a bullet will. Swears something scared her. That's why she feels safe, on the bed. I don't know. It has been my experience. We have a bunch of dogs and a bunch of cats, and they always try to get on the bed. I don't know. Who knows? It might be the case. It might be the case. And I have one that will stay. We got an old cat, Edward. If Doc might remember Edward damn cat. That's what I always called him. I've been doing YouTube since 2011. Edward's been on YouTube since 2011. I did not know that, Christy. I know they could be quite painful. But Edward hides under the bed until you go to sleep, and you don't even know he's in the house. And you'll wake up at like 2 a.m, and something is right here. It's that freaking cat, Edward, damn cat. And that's Edward. And he's 15, 16 now. Last time she got this way, it was the same thing, damn cat. Yeah. You love them to death, damn cats. But kind of how it is. Have you changed the diet, or have you changed the litter box? I know you changed the litter box. Have you changed the type of litter that's in the box, Doc? That can be something. She was kitten when the grandkids found her. It could be something as simple as if you change the food. I'm not a vet. I worked for one for many years. It could be a dietary change. Have you done anything like that? An environmental change in the house. Has anyone else been coming in the house like another person, a companion? Have you know what I mean? Other of that sort. No, and it's exhale and nurse her back. She became Jane Cat, and now, and when she comes to go figure, Hakuna Matata. That is the cycle of life. That's good stuff. So she has. She loved my ex, who does pet sitting. There you go. There's no accounting for taste. I'll tell you that, Doc, when it comes to the animals. But Christy said, cat wants to go out and hunt at night. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Edward right after we had him, when we were living down on the old property, we had a problem with coyotes, and you'd go out and you could harvest coyotes, we'll say it that way, and after a while they would come back, and he got attacked by one, and it broke his pelvis up pretty good, and so it was like 6 weeks of cage rest. But he came back, but he's still really freaky sketchy about certain things. But yeah, they'll bring up a couple of the new cats that we found. We didn't find them. They came up on the property and we had them neutered and gave them shots. They bring in mice live, rats live, snakes live, and they won't kill them, but they'll bring them in, and it's like it's a rodeo at that point. Christy says, "Oh, you worked for a vet for 16 years. Okay, yeah, so you know a lot about it." Doc says his other car. Okay, I'm going to say you're talking about a cat, because if your car comes in at night and then stays out on the porch, yeah, I figured it was a cat, because car would be strange. I don't know, and the things, I like our cats. Our cats are utterly useless, other than bringing in an animal I have to catch, but they're good stuff. They're nice. They're surprisingly something that keeps them around. I enjoy them. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 at the moment. We don't want any more, so please don't drop any off, guys. JJ is 15, Edward is 16, and circle worms, that's his name, circle worms, because he was covered in ringworm, and my grandson couldn't say circle worms, couldn't say ringworm, so he called it circle worms. And yes, everyone in the house got ringworm from that stupid cat. He's a good cat, and he's a hunter. And then we have JJ, Edward, circle worms, and then we have Tick. And Tick, why did we name him Tick? Because when we found him, he was covered in freaking ticks. And guess what? Everybody in the house got ticks. There you go. So yes, we're a sucker. We're suckers for pets. And yes, vet bill. But they're all doing good now. Kind of hard to bring the truck in. Yeah, it is. It is. And then it wants to go out at night. But it would be a lot less if the truck used cat food. Yep, circle worms. Circle worms is the black one, and Tick is the gray one, and they're both good cats now for the moment. And I swear, and they go in and out. All of them come in the house, and all of them go out the house. And you can't. When a cat wants to do what a cat wants to do, you just open the door and accommodate the cat. So they're in and out the house. Sometimes they sleep in the house at night. Sometimes they don't. It just depends. And, everybody's neutered. They're all males. But, they still like to roam. So it's fun stuff. And the grandkids love them. So, and the two younger cats are so used to the grandkids. And of course, Xander and Phoenix are 7 and 5. So they know how to be gentle around pets, but they still pick them up and hold them and walk around with them. And it's like holding a bag of noodles. The cats are just hanging there. West Tennessee, lots of deer ticks. He surprised a buck and he acted like he was going to get me. Yeah. Might be in rut. You do carry a sidearm when you're out there doing all that stuff, don't you, Christy? That would be it. I would hope you do. I can't tell you what to do, but I would hope that you would do something like that. Yeah, that would be something I would think about. Oh, okay. Okay. Um, maybe you should. Um, at the very least for snakes and critters, little critters and stuff like that. Um, or for the weirdos. Um, yeah, I would. Just you don't have to be cowboy about it unless you just want to be cowboy about it. But I would definitely consider, is it, and just find your comfort zone and work from there. And if you feel like you need something additionally to just carrying, a little bit of training classes, can't beat them. It's really good stuff. Uh, you had a mountain lion one day. Well, there you go. Yeah, I would. I would carry a larger caliber. Um, yep. Actually, in this area, I was out hiking about a year ago, and I did a video of it. I was up hiking behind one of the hotels that I was staying in, and there's a big old pile of bear scat, which is poop. And I got to looking at it, and it was, there are black bears all around here. And I got to looking at it, and I was thinking, this is not good because I always carry a gun. Like, there's one over here right beside me, but sometimes you need something bigger than a 9mm. And so I would say dress for the occasion, ladies and gentlemen. You see all those people on the Alaskan, living everything. They have the big 44 strapped to their shoulder sideways or to their chest sideways, and that is for large game, bear, not for hunting. That's for defense, and they're usually like 44 Magnums or 357, 44 Long Colt, or 357 Magnums for that kind of stuff for defense, because eh, you know that's a whole different video on that. Um, I've never met a mountain lion. I hope to never see one, but I can tell you anyhow, I'd rather see than be one. That's the purple cow poem. Anyway, uh, got black bear and homing. I hate dogs. Okay. Yeah, a dog is a good deterrent. It'll let you know when something's there that you can't see or smell. But I would definitely, even if you're on just a regular old walkabout on your property, checking fence lines or something like that, I would always carry a sidearm or a good, I don't know, stick. Or, well, a stick is kind of a poor defense, but it beats nothing. If they smell a dog, they usually leave. I have heard that. Doc. Yes, sir. But I would definitely, I would take two of them with you whenever you're walking around your property. You know, again, of course, that's just me, and you're grown, so so do what you think is best and everything, and you know your area better than I do. But Fernando Aguirre, fur fan, he wrote a book on surviving. I think it's called "Surviving the Apocalypse" when he was escaping Venezuela with his family. He said all of the survival tips and all that stuff boiled down to three things for him. He said, you can get out of dang near any situation if you have a gun, and he mentioned a Glock 19. If you have a gun, if you have a credit card, and if you have $500 in cash. So that would definitely fall into the bear category. And I don't think the bear wants your money. So that would be my funk. It's a really good book, by the way. If I remember, I'll post the link to the book. I'm not an affiliate or anything. It was just a dang good book. But it was what he did when he was getting out of Venezuela with his family. They knew the big cat was a sheer predator, kept watching it for a long time after it left. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I would be careful with those kind of critters. That would be my funk. And, you know, out in the woods, and I am guilty of it as well, most people don't look up. Big cats are, you know, they usually don't get on the ground that much when they do their thing. So a lot of it is up above your head when something happens. So yes, we have had them. They have been known to be in area here in Alabama, lower Alabama, along the Cahaba River. Back years ago when I was younger and we would camp, you would hear them every now and then screaming. There you go. Yeah, the Wild West. There you go. But I have not heard them in a great long time. You know, the more as civilization encroaches, though, into their territory, the more they overlap. And that is the problem, even with coyotes, fox, deer, skunks, raccoons, possums. That is kind of the problem we are in, living on the fringes that most of us do. That's the kind of stuff we live in. Christy says, if my dogs look up, I start looking too. You're damn right. Absolutely. That's a good way to do it because, you know, that's why you pay them. Well, all right, guys, we are at 54 minutes. If you guys have any thoughts or suggestions or questions or ideas, feel free to email me at mayhemcountryliving, all one word, gmail.com. And that way I can get some ideas for these videos, or I'll still pull them out of my hat and we'll do something. But I might start splitting these things up and do like the honest to goodness thing that I have a thought of. And then we'll just kind of BS the last little bit of it. But send me an email. Again, mayhemcountryliving@gmail.com. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps YouTube. It makes them happy. Like it, share it, subscribe if you haven't. I know you guys have anyway. Thanks for coming by, guys. Thanks for sticking around. I really appreciate it. You guys take it easy, and you have a good evening. I may end up doing a live stream tomorrow because I'm out of town. So I won't be going to church. And so we might do a live stream tomorrow. You guys be safe. Take care of your people. Take care of your dogs and your cats too. Damn cats. See ya.